Hey guys, my name is Oscar Ramirez, and this is my very first podcast. This podcast goes by the name In My Opinion, and I want to be able to express my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have similar experiences or opinions as me. My opinions are based on prior experiences. And this podcast is going to be based on current events, prior experiences, and other experiences that I believe could end up helping others in the future. And this is the reason why I have created this podcast. Let's keep in mind, this is my very first time creating a podcast, but my intentions are very, very good here. My intentions is to open up what I would say a can of worms to be able to get input from many of you guys and also share the opinions on what's going on currently in the world, in the country, in your city, and other struggles that we could have been or that we're currently experiencing, such as career change, school, family, relationships, and so on. I'm going to go ahead and start this podcast by naming this first episode We Are the Problem. And the reason I want to start with We Are the Problem, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the perspective of us immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself. I've been here for over 30 years or so. In fact, I've been here for exactly 31 years. And I came to the United States as a child. And I have made the most out of being an immigrant in this country. I have been very blessed to have a very good and smart father, also a caring mother, and I have been extremely blessed when it comes to that. I remember when I was in my mid teens, 15, 16 years old, I remember my father telling me, I brought you to this country to make someone out of yourself. At that time, I did not understand. And in fact, I had no plans of going to college or attending college at all. My plans were to always try to work for myself in a trade business, such as plumbing or house flipping or handyman services and so on, or even fixing cars. But I quickly realized that I hated getting dirty. I hated sweating. I hated getting dirty. I hated smelling bad. So I made the choice early on in my early 20s, not in my late teens, and I made the decision that I needed to go to school to do something with my life. 17 years after that, I ended up with many degrees. I ended up with a doctorate, and I ended up with an amazing career that I'm extremely proud of. And I hope that this introduction could help many of you guys that are kind of lost. And the beauty of being an immigrant in this country is that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the United States. If it's possible to happen in the United States. And I'm talking all about positive aspects. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the immigration. Yes, immigration in the United States is an issue. There are many illegal immigrants in this country. There are many legal immigrants in this country. And there is a purpose for all of them. They come to this country to better their lives. As previously stated, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the United States. But as everything in life, we have the goods, we have the bads. Let's say you buy 5 lemons and one of them is bad. It does not mean that the rest of the lemons are bad. It's just one that was rotten. Let's say you live in a neighborhood and there is a house that has a leaky roof. It does not mean that every single house has a leaky roof. It's just the house that was defective. The same thing with immigrants. Most of them, 90% of them, or even more, are good individuals that came to this country to better themselves. On the other hand, there's that other 10% that come to this country to take advantage of the situation, to take advantage of the generosity of the United States. And that's something that the United States has. The United States is very generous. The United States is a country that lets you have an open voice, lets you express your opinions, and also helps you out in many aspects. But that 10% or that 5% creates a bad reputation for the rest of us. Now, why do I think us immigrants are the problem here or part of the problem? Let me go ahead and explain it to you. When we are immigrants and we hardly have anything in our countries, and then we migrate to the rich country of the United States, then we start sending pictures or talking to our family members and hyperinflating our lives here. And hear me out. For example, I can go ahead and start talking to my cousins, to my brother, my sister, that could be back in my country. I'm from Venezuela. And I could send them pictures of my new car. I could send them pictures of my new house. I could send them pictures of my new iPhone, my new Apple Watch, and so on. And what this creates is that the individuals back in our country are thinking, if he was able to make it, I can make it too. I want that type of life. I want to have all those material things. Here's the issue. The issue is that they do not understand that most of that is based on credit. So, yes, they have the house, which they have to pay $2,000 a month for 360 months, or they have that brand new car that they have to pay $250 for 72 months, 100 months. They have the brand new iPhone that they're paying maybe $5 a month for the next 36 months, and so on. Everything is based on credit. And what credit means is that you're getting yourself deeper and deeper and deeper in debt. And that is an issue. That's why we are contributing to the problem by sending all these pictures or talking to our family members how this life that we have, that in fact is just hyperinflated with things that we don't even own. We are in deep debt for that. Another thing that maybe other individuals that are not in the United States that they do not understand is that in the United States we have to work very, very hard. We have to work long hours. We get very little lunch time. And often we have to work two and sometimes even three jobs to be able to keep up with the expenses, or what I would like to say are monthly expenses, because it's monthly. It does not seem to ever end. So that's why we are contributing to part of the migration. We're just hyperinflating our lives here, which in fact is not a reality. It's just a hyperinflation, or what I could say, um, a fake life that we are carrying here. So, what do I do? What do I recommend? I recommend that if you're going to migrate to this country, number one, always do it legally. That's the only way it should be done. Do it legally. If you are coming to this country and you're going to spend multiple hours per day working and hardly spending any time at home with your family, if you're going to spend all that quality time at work, try to do that at your in your own country. Try to get some type of education. And with that education, things could be easier here in the United States if you ever decide to migrate. And that is in my opinion. Let's say you are a doctor in your country. You can get the great education in your country for a fraction of what it would cost here in the United States. And if you do that and then go through the legal means to eventually migrate to this country, I believe that things could be easier in the long run. Now we do have immigrants that help us tremendously with the picking the fruits or taking care of the cattle, chickens, and so on. We also need to consider them in, and if that's the type of job they want to do, they should provide them with a specific type of visa or permit to come to the United States and do that type of job. Because I know for sure many Americans do not want to do that type of job. They don't want to work on the fields. They don't want to work on hard labor, construction, and so on. And if any individual want to come to this country and do that type of job, then a specific set of permission or visas should be granted for a period of time. And this, in fact, leads the way to everybody paying taxes, because here in the United States, we do pay taxes. And I'm going to make another video regarding how we will never own anything here. So if we do everything the legal way, I believe it will be much easier and things would be settled. To close this podcast, yes, immigration is a problem here. Immigration was a very big issue that the prior administration got out of, lost their control on it, and now we have an issue. But I want to keep things clear here. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm a proud independent. I just want the best for the country. I want the best for my family. I want the best for myself. And I want the best for my career. So if I know something is right, I will always voice what is right. Sadly, many individuals are getting deported. Many of them are from Latin America. And it's likely because that 10% that came to this country to do bad, that likely was doing bad or doing bad things back in their countries, they came to this country to take advantage of the generosity of the United States. And I want to repeat this part too, the generosity. The United States is such a generous country that this is the only country that I know of, and please help me out with this. This is the only country in the world that I know of that let other individuals from other countries to manifest and complain and raise their voice and complain about other stuff in this country, even if they're not from this country. And still, their rights are respected. And still, their voice are respected. And still, their legal rights are respected. And this is why I believe this country is extremely generous. Lastly, this is my first podcast. It's very raw. I will not edit anything here. I want to voice my opinion. I want to be able to get conversations or create conversations with other individuals here. And keep in mind, this is my opinion and my opinion only. And the last thing I want to do is to hurt anyone or insult anyone. I just want to express my opinion. I greatly appreciate you watching or listening, or both, until the end. I will see you next week when I'll bring you my next episode. Thank you and have an amazing day. Bye.